I was making good money babysitting a small girl outside the city center. It was a good family and they had adopted a small girl from Vietnam called Emmy. Emmy was a shy 9-year-old girl and this was my 5th time babysitting her since last summer. Her parents went on a work trip to New York City and I had to stay with her for 3 days. This was the longest time I had to spend with her since I always stayed only for a few hours and she never talked to me, so the money was easy. But this time, because I had to spend more time with her, we started to talk. At first, she seems nice and very normal, to be honest, but as the days went by, she started calling me mom. In the beginning, I didn't get bothered, but later it started to stress me a bit. I decided to sit with her and ask her why she kept calling me mom, and I really wasn't ready for the answer. She told me that she didn't come from a normal Vietnamese family, but from a deep forest family, like the one that lives in the jungles. That really surprised me. She continued to explain to me that she had lived with her biological family until the age of 6 when her family died in a wildfire and she was saved by the police and brought to the city where she was then adopted by the American couple. Since her family had the ability to practice black magic, she could too. She told me that she was seeing figures around the house and that's why she kept calling me mom, so they wouldn't hurt me. I was so scared. This was my 2nd day with the family, but I didn't wait for the 3rd day. I called the couple and told them that I was leaving no matter what. I tried to babysit for a small girl in a really strange family. I was still young and I always had fun babysitting. This family had a really odd connection with their distant family members. They kept all of the ashes of their relatives in the living room, not just one body, but 12 to be exact. All 12 boxes were placed under the TV as they said they had a strong connection with them. I should have left the house as soon as I saw that, but I tried to play it cool, and yes, that was my mistake. The parents told me where everything was as they were leaving and I was supposed to care for their daughter. I agreed, and the daughter was very well behaved. As soon as her parents left, she fell asleep. At that time, I was still with my ex-boyfriend and I tried to tell him about all the ashes the family had. We were kind of making jokes about it, but it didn't feel right. I was in the room with a girl when my boyfriend suggested I change rooms so we could video call and express our love. I went downstairs to the living room, completely forgetting about the ashes. I started talking to him, but all of a sudden my camera froze. I didn't realize what was happening at first, but the thing that scared me the most was my boyfriend's face. It started to distort and look horrifying. I quickly closed the camera and tried to explain to him what was happening, but just as I started, my phone went dead. I tried to call him again, but it didn't work. An hour later, my boyfriend called me back, and he was furious that he couldn't reach me all day. I was shocked and tried to explain to him that I had been talking to him. He thought I was joking, so he hung up the phone. I went back to the girl's room. She was still asleep and I eventually fell asleep too. To this day, I still don't know who I was talking to on the phone, or if it had to do anything with the ashes in the living room. I needed money so badly one time that I searched for all the ways to get it. I thought about asking one of my friends for some and she replies, "You should try babysitting." I had never thought of babysitting until then. She helped me find a family and it seemed so fun. The family had 2 boys and all I had to do was stay one night with them. They were really energetic and wanted me to play outside in the garden since they had a swimming pool. Since it was July and really hot, we decided to jump into the pool. It was late at night and since the parents weren't home, they wanted to stay up later. I also jumped into the pool and we had so much fun. Later the boys went inside to change and I stayed in the pool a little longer. At that moment, I heard a noise coming from the back. I was scared and I thought maybe it was an animal. I tried to get out of the pool, but then I heard a lot. I knew someone was watching me. I ran inside the house. I tried to look through the windows, and that's when I saw 3 men who had been watching us the whole time. I immediately tried to turn off all the lights and close all the doors. I was so scared. Since then, I never babysat again. I had to babysit for some random family a few years ago. I don't even remember how I ended up there, but it wasn't supposed to be a big deal. just watch the kid for a few hours while the parents went out. The little girl was sweet enough, maybe 7 or 8, but there was something off about the house. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Anyway, everything was normal at first. We watched TV, played some board games, and had snacks. She seemed fine, but after a while, she got this weird look on her face and asked me to go into the garage to get her a ball. It was just sitting there, she said, in the corner. No, I wasn't a fan of the garages, but whatever, right? It was literally just a few steps away from the living room, and I didn't want to seem like a wimp. So I get up, walk to the door that leads to the garage, and grab the handle. As soon as I opened it, this cold air hit me. It felt wrong. The lights were flickering about, casting shadows that just didn't make sense, like they were moving on their own. I thought about turning back, but I couldn't. I had already come this far, so I stepped inside. The garage was bigger than I expected, filled with boxes, old furniture, and junk. The light overhead buzzed, and the air smelled stale, like it hadn't been opened in years. I spotted the ball near the far corner, but something else caught my eye first. There was something moving. At first I thought it was just a trick of the light, but then it shifted, stepped out from behind a pile of boxes. It was small, hunched over, and red, like bright unnatural red. I couldn't even process what I was seeing. It had twisted, jagged horns that curled up like something straight out of a nightmare. Its eyes were the worst part. They weren't human, they were glowing. I'm talking bright, almost burning like fire behind them, and it was staring right at me. My breath caught in my chest. I should have run. I wanted to run, but I couldn't. My legs were frozen. I could hear my heart pounding in my ears, and then it growled like it was trying to warn me or something worse. I wanted to scream. I wanted to bolt out of there, but all I could do was just stand there, staring at it. I didn't even notice I was holding my breath until I saw the ball rolling past the creature, almost like it was teasing me. Finally, I forced myself to move. I grabbed the ball, hands shaking, and just ran. I slammed the garage door shut behind me and leaned against it, trying to catch my breath. I had no idea what the hell that thing was or why it was there, but I knew it needed to get back inside away from it. I walked it back into the living room, and there she was, sitting in the couch like nothing had happened. The little girl just looked up at me, her eyes wide and almost too knowing. "You saw him, didn't you?" she asked. Her voice was soft, almost casual, like this was an everyday thing. I didn't know what she was talking about. I was too shaken to even respond, so I just nodded. "The red thing," she said, like I should have known. "He lives in the garage, but he doesn't like people taking stuff that's his." I froze. My stomach turned and I could feel my skin crawl. I hadn't taken anything except for the ball, but that didn't feel like something I should have done, not after seeing what was in there. She just shrugged, like it didn't matter, but I could tell she wasn't scared, like she knew the rules. She wasn't even surprised. I couldn't leave fast enough after that. I didn't want to stay in that house a second longer. I tried to act like everything was fine when the parents came home, but I couldn't stop thinking about that thing, that red thing. I've never been able to forget it, and sometimes when I'm alone at night, I can still see its eyes. I don't know what it was, but I know one thing for sure. It wasn't anything normal. It was waiting for me, watching me, and I'm not sure if it's still out there or if it's moved on to someone else. But I'm never going back to a house with a garage again.